Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 72 of the Simply One podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we got the show for you.
That's right. That's right.
No, it is. It's right. We're
scheduled for one song only.
That's right. You ball so hard, motherfuckers want to find me. No, we are here to talk about exclusively.
What's 50 grand to a motherfucker like me? Can you please remind me?
No, we are here to talk about Mission Impossible 7, Dead Reckoning.
Yes.
Part uno.
Of Trace?
Dos.
2?
Yeah.
I thought I heard something that they're going to split it into a 3-parter.
I don't believe so. That was Dune. much different. It's kind of similar. There's explosions
Both
sometimes.
got Tom Cruise?
Nope. They both got Tom Cruise.
He's back there. I swear I saw him.
He's in the crowd. He's an extra. Yeah. He's doing a favor for the director. I still want fucking Austin Butler because, he's so bald in that, because he's playing one of the Harkonnen. I still really want the Elvis voice. I'll tell you what now, one thing, little mama. That Muad'Dib is no good.
What is it? The Chinese only know 2 things.
You see out there, that's called a karate, man. And there's only 2 kinds of people in the world that know it. The Chinese and the king, and one of them's me.
Potentially, but he is the Chinese.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's not the king. He is, in fact, the Watch out, man. He fucking comes with a karate chop at the neck. If people haven't seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, I don't know if it's worth a watch, but just watch some clips.
No, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a funny movie.
Wrong kid died. Just his dad constantly reminding him that the wrong son died. Anyways, we're recording a more brief episode.
On my birthday.
On your birthday. Happy birthday.
You're trying the big old choo-choo.
Deuce.
Double deuce.
That's a 4-wiper.
Yeah. That's the kind you get in the shower afterwards.
It's the kind that you just go, I can't leave the house now.
I got to call off work.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be late. Put it in the chat. Yeah. Guys, I ain't going to be in there on time. I took a double deuce.
Oh,
no.
Shit.
Fuck. Yeah, they're just sending in condolences.
Yeah, I'm like, just go ahead and take the day.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
You leave the state tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So we're recording this on the Thursday.
Yep.
And it won't air for about almost a week.
Yeah.
So any news or anything like that, we're not going to, Though I do want to address that, as of today, the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, did go on strike. So they've joined the writers who've been on strike for 70 days now. And they're going on strike effective at midnight tonight, so Friday morning.
Someone did the math, and they were talking about Bob Iger, and
so
he makes about $80K a day.
Yeah, so he makes $27 million a year, and he just signed a 6-year contract that by the end his bonus will be 5 times its original.
What the fuck did you even do with that money?
Right, yeah, that's fuck you money. And he was saying something of he made a statement that was something effective what the writers are asking for is just unrealistic and selfish. And somebody they were the writer of the episode of She-Hulk that Daredevil returned in. He fucking quote tweeted that article from Variety or Deadline or something and said my residual check from She-Hulk was $396. That's what he got paid.
Woof. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. And
no good strike. Strike until you get paid what you should be.
Yeah, and I mean Hollywood's effectively
basically on shutdown right now because writers and
you're not making it. You're not writing anything.
Does that mean Deadpool 3 is put on pause?
Oh, it means everything's put on pause.
Wow.
If anything's in production, it's done. Yeah. Well, Dune's already been shot. So I mean, you can still edit it. I mean, the editors, Yahtzee and all that, they're not on strike. But if there's anything that was getting ready to be shot, is in the middle of being shot, there's no promotion going on. The actors in Oppenheimer actually walked off of the premiere because they're,
Yeah. I know, especially Robert Downey Jr.
Well, because the premiere is happening right now in the UK, and they had fucking left in the middle of it. We're on strike now, and left.
Good.
Fucking San Diego Comic-Con's coming up. Anything like that, there's going to be zero promotion. You've got the Venice Film Festival coming up. No stars will be there.
Make Hollywood bleed. Make them burn. Make them go, fine, we'll fucking chuck in.
And this is just days after there was that quote from an executive who told, I think, Deadline something to the effect of that. The end game here is to hold out, basically, until the writers start losing their homes and losing their apartments and have no choice but to reach a deal.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
And
fucked
like,
up.
it's fucked up, but it's not surprising. Like, that's what a strike is, right?
Yeah.
Is, you know, the company basically saying, I have nothing else to say to you. You know, I have nothing else to offer you. Here's the last deal. And it's the workers going, well, that's not good enough. And then it's a war of attrition where basically the workers go, we're going to see if we can last longer than you can, you know? And we'll see how it goes.
I hope they hold out. I hope they hold out long enough for finally.
I think now that the actors are gone too, that's really going to hurt.
the actors, because they got, you know, compared to some of the writers, the actors got the money.
Right. Well, and because you've got the thing of
You can have all this stuff written, but who's going to
who's
do
going
it?
to make it? Yeah. You know, because they're trying to make Deadpool. They're trying to make, you know, Captain America 4. They're trying to make all these movies that are already written. Well, now you're not even making the stuff that was already written. So you don't have anything new being written. You don't have anything currently written that's being shot. So this, you know, you get a year or two out, there's going to be a huge hole in content, basically.
Right now is the time where indie films really need a...
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but then they've got to find a place to sell it to where they don't look like a scab.
I mean, just saying big, bold letters, we pay our people properly.
Right. No, so the idea is they don't help the strike by making stuff. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess I meant
'Cause
more
if-
for more like publicity of getting your name out there. Like
Sure.
right now would be a good time because you have no other competition out there right now.
Yeah, but then you would never work again because the other writers and actors, once they went back, would be like, yeah, those were the guys that
No, I guess
broke
that's
the
true.
picket, you know, crossed the picket line.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. So that happened today, and the Emmys got announced.
Yes.
I did want to talk about that just real brief.
Now, if the...
Nobody's at the Emmys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is like...
Yeah. Nobody's at the Emmys. So hopefully they're done by then.
I don't know. I kind of want to see what happened.
Yeah. I mean, you figure we're at day 70. The last writer's strike was over 100 days. We're at day 70 for the writers. And the writers and the actors haven't struck together since like 1960, I think. Mm-hmm. So, and it's a totally different ballgame. And it sounds like it all came down to AI. The refusal to dismiss AI, you know. Mm-hmm. The studios wouldn't sign anything saying, yeah, we aren't going to replace you.
Yeah.
And the writers and the actors both were like, sorry, you know, because I mean, you can effectively, outside of your stars, you can like AI generate a crowd. You don't need extras. You don't need, you know, you can pay somebody, you could pay me to be the body for Harrison Ford in the next Indiana Jones movie and use AI to put his face on me and use AI to make his voice come out of my mouth.
Harrison Ford and I share the same birthday.
Yeah. Neat.
As well
Happy
as,
birthday, Harrison Ford.
as well as Cheech from Cheech and Chong.
Oh, yeah. Apparently their edibles are legal now.
Bingo.
And are doing well for them.
FDA approved.
So, anyhow, we are going to talk about the fact that the Emmys nominations were announced. Bunch of highlights there, I think. A lot of nominations. I think it was like 24 nominations for The Last of Us, which is pretty cool. It makes it the first live-action video game adaptation at all to get any sort of award like
Yeah, it's
buzz
tough
or
to
recognition.
Do. It's tough to do that, man, to pull off a video game into a
like into
TV,
live action. Yeah.
live action. But
And then, like you and I were saying, fucking The White Lotus.
oh my god,
Jeezy Pete's.
holy fucking
like,
smoke!
I
Save
haven't
some
watched
pussy
it.
for the rest of us, dude.
I
Like,
haven't watched it, and I was like, I think I gotta watch this thing. Succession, same way.
I heard Succession's mid.
Yeah. Who said that? Who said that? Somebody you work with?
Multiple people I work with.
Yeah.
And they were just saying, they're like, from someone who'd watch it, they're like, it's just like, it's from the name. It's about like, I guess these kids kind of taking over the business or trying to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Their
And-
dad's like a television mogul of some sort, I believe. I think he's basically supposed to be like a Rupert Murdoch who owns Fox. They're all shithead people trying to
Where's the money, shithead?
trying to vie for their father's love, so they'll be made the successor to his empire.
Bingo.
Yeah. The third episode of The Last of Us with Frank and Bill got nominated for best writing.
That was some good ass writing.
Yeah. Fucking Andor got nominated for best drama. Barry got nominated for best comedy. So did The Bear. I was excited about that. Obi-Wan Kenobi got nominated for best limited series. So yeah, pretty dope. What you ready to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning?
Yep. Stank Reckoning.
Like that wasn't even clever.
No.
Stank Reckoning. No. You got a synopsis for me?
It's Tom Cruise.
So you got old Thomas Cruise.
Dead Reckoning Part 1 finds Ethan once again going rogue to stop another rising threat. This time, he's up against the Entity, an artificial intelligence that can rewrite the truth as we know it. Multiple world powers are seeking to control this AI, including Ethan's employers, the Impossible Mission Force.
The IMF, motherfuckers.
You're.
Now, I do think you and I have some different perspective going into the movie.
Yep.
Because you've never seen one of them, have you?
I've seen, like, the first couple.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any with Simon Pegg.
Okay. And I think he started in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I really like Simon Pegg in him.
I like Simon Pegg as an actor.
In general, yeah.
So
I was telling you when we were walking out of the theater, I think the thing that the Mission Impossible movies do well is kind of fill the modern gap for James Bond, where like Jason Bourne was like, what if a fucking spy movie was like really gritty and actiony? And then James Bond was like, yo, good idea. We're going to have Casino Royale open with James Bond drowning a dude in a sink, you know? And like, okay, and that's what James Bond became, was kind of like more gritty and fisticuff beat him up and stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, spy movies used to be like
cool
they got
gadgets.
gadgets and they,
Gizmos and goobers.
Yeah, and they kind of like could exist outside of the world of reality and still kind of be bought into, because you're like, that's just the world that they are in, you know, where like James Bond's got a laser in his watch and all that. And this, you know, is based on an 80s TV show, I believe, of the same name. I know it's a show, but I believe it was in the 80s. And I think it does a decent job of kind of going, okay, how can we kind of harness that like cheesy 80s action spy,
still make it today.
modern? Yeah. I did think, I'm trying to like stay spoiler free for the moment. Haley Atwell is a new character in this. Well, the actress plays a new character, Grace, in this. I kind of liked Grace's character as like the thief pickpocketing over her head with the whole thing. I did like the Entity as a villain, actually. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about like a non-person being the enemy. It was like an interesting wrinkle of like, oh, that's a pretty modern idea of like, how do you fight that, right?
How do you fight the untouchable?
Yeah, and when it makes the fact that our world is so technologically advanced a weakness for you. And there's a few times where that really comes into play of like, fuck, we can't exist on a network or it can access us and, know what we're doing. I thought that was kind of interesting. There was actually a couple good like comedic beats for it not being an action comedy. You know what I mean? There was a few parts where I was like, that was actually genuinely funny. There's just a part that we'll talk about where they first get in the Mini. I thought that was actually pretty fun. Like you actually even were over there giggling. Because Tom Cruise, I kind of forget, like, is able to be funny because he's always just Johnny Action Man, you know? But then I'm like, he was also Les Grossman, in Tropic Thunder, and it's like he has a funny bone in him, and I do think he's trying to, like, as he gets older, loosen up a little bit and just do more comedy sometimes.
You're gonna have more fun doing that, man. Tell you that right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking break your ankle and then have to stop production for 6 months.
Yeah.
But what am I saying?
What am I saying? What do you think? Spoiler-free plot thoughts.
Yeah, as far as like the action scenes that we see during the trailer versus some of the ones that we see in the actual movie, it is pretty cut and paste. I feel like there's only maybe a couple scenes where it's like, oh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the hard part. It's the same with comedy of like, how do you cut a trailer for it and not show like?
I always thought it's like no matter whatever you show on the trailer, you need to have that much that you didn't
show, right? Yeah.
So it's a nice balance.
Yeah,
it was cool. Like as far as like the scenery was really cool. They had a lot of really good shots that they did of like different perspectives. But I know that's a pretty Mission Impossible thing that they do. A lot of running. A lot of Tom Cruise running.
Yeah.
Which,
that's a staple as well.
By the 5th or 6th time he's running, like, oh my God. Like, she's a runner. She's a track star.
Yeah.
So
there's a scene in the last one, Fallout, where like he has basically the scene is, it's the scene where he broke his ankle actually. Where he goes from, it's like a motorbike chase, a car chase, to this, that, to he has to ditch the vehicle, and then he's on foot, and then he's running on the rooftops, running through buildings, things like that. And you're like, my God, this is a long-ass chase scene. But it does a good job of, like, keeping your attention, I think.
Yeah.
And there was a car chase in this that kind of made me think of that, where I was like, okay, this car chase is actually engaging still.
Yeah, which is something we'll talk
it's hard
about.
to do, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of scenery shots. It takes place a lot of places. Two mainly, I guess, really. But like, I wasn't expecting like locations to change as frequently as it
they
did.
do. Yeah.
Which I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Which
globe trotting. Yeah.
I guess makes sense in a situation like
Yeah.
that. What do you think about like characters and chemistry?
Well, that's what I was kind of trying to think. Like, the core team, I think, is pretty small in this film compared to some of the older films.
Well, it's this one. It's Simon Pegg, Luther.
It's just Simon, Luther, and Ethan, basically. You do get, what's her name, Ingrid,
Yeah.
in it for a while, as well as, she's kind of in and out of the film, as well as Grace as the new addition. I think I liked Grace as a new addition.
So did I.
Haley Atwell's always fine. I mean, I enjoyed her as Peggy Carter. Yeah, no, Haley Atwell, she's a good addition.
I'm just nodding my head and listening.
you know
What are you talking? What are you doing?
You're damn near sucking your lip over there, raising your eyebrows, shaking your head. Yes, Chris is down bad for Haley Atwell.
What do you want from me?
I'm just a man,
Sui.
Oh, another really good addition in this, actually. Pom Klementieff as, I don't know her character's name, but she plays a fucking crazy assassin who is like nuts.
Who speaks French?
Yeah, that's Pom Klementieff. Yeah, she's French.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jesus. Like, yeah, what a weird addition. She speaks French.
Speaks French.
Pom's getting a fucking break. She gets to just speak her native tongue.
Shit.
But for people that don't know, Pom is Mantis in the Guardians movies.
Side note: Paris is falling apart.
We just got out of a strike talk. Let's
We'll move out of that quickly.
yeah.
But that is something I did see recently.
It's done been going that way. But that's the thing about France, man. They'll fucking burn the city down for what seems like not a lot, but it's because they're like, you won't take an inch and then take a mile. We're gonna fight for that inch.
We need to take notes from that shit.
So, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed the cast and crew. I mean, like I said, the core team has been in. I mean, Luther's been in pretty much every movie, I think, at least since 3. And then, like I said, Simon Pegg's character has been in all of them since 3 or 4. And so, we were pretty familiar with all of them. Ethan does do the thing that he does in every movie where it's like, my God, he's just the perfect, like, he's too good, like morally too good. That's his flaw, right? It's like, you guys will always be more fucking important than me, and you're like, come on, man.
You're too modest.
And it is that thing of like going rogue. And I like that they just kind of like acknowledged it, that they're like, that's just kind of what these fucking guys do. Like, more of these movies are about them going rogue than not.
But the thing is they always get the job done, so
right.
they'll always take them back because, like, by golly, they have their, they're unorthodox, but they get it done.
Work. And I did like that this one is genuinely like they have their own mission that they're attempting to follow. They're not taking a mission. Well, I mean, they're kind of hijacking a mission they've been given.
Yeah.
What do you think about characters and chemistry?
As far as characters and chemistry, Luther and I can't remember Simon Pegg's
I can never either.
character's name. They were both really cool because they're both kind of like the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought it was interesting to have 2 of them instead of 1. And I was like, how
it's
is
because
that?
Simon Pegg kind of gets more field time than Luther. Luther's very much the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
Where Simon Pegg kind of is both.
But yeah, I was curious on like how that's going to work, how they're going to make that work.
Yeah.
And like when he went down to this, during one of the parts.
Yeah. To go do something in the field. And then Luther's got to like help both of them bounce between the two. Yeah, that was
There's nothing
cool.
Luther can't do,
Yeah.
And then I do like the relationship between Ethan and
Grace or Ingrid.
Grace.
Yeah.
It seems very much like puppy love between the two, which I thought was really cool. Well, I mean, just like
It's kind of a fun dynamic.
Yeah. It felt real. Like there was nothing that felt, well, we'll get into that. That kind of dips into, a lot of my characters and chemistries kind of dip into spoilers.
Yeah.
So,
All right, well, you want to rate it then?
yeah.
All right, how do we rate stuff?
You can always be overwhelmed, which means your expectations were, surpassed, they're exceeded.
Yeah.
You thoroughly enjoyed the film.
Really liked it. Yeah.
You can be underwhelmed, which means, you thought it was a big fat stinker.
Yeah,
your
didn't like it.
expectations were, not met by any means.
Yeah.
Or you can always be right in the middle and be simply whelmed.
You want 1, 2, 3 it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Simply whelmed.
Yeah.
On the verge of underwhelming.
For me, I was more towards the top of Simply Whelmed. It's not the best Mission Impossible movie. I think that's probably Fallout, the last one. But it's definitely not towards the bottom for me, I don't think. As far as like action movies that have been coming out, I think it does a pretty good job of being a better one.
Maybe it could be. Since I haven't seen the majority of them.
Yeah, because like a good example that I had that I wanted to save for spoilers.
Are we in spoilers?
Yeah, we just rated it.
Well, for the honors.
After we rate it, all gloves are off.
Game. It's fucking game
on.
Condoms
it's
off.
on site. The first time that like one of them took a mask off and you giggled, I knew that you weren't going to like the movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's just Mission Impossible. I don't know why you're giggling. That's just something they do. And you're like, that's fucking stupid. And I'm like, nah, I think you're just not getting it, Chief.
Yeah, it's a mask that makes you look like another person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Just them taking off. I was like,
Yeah, that's always been in the movies.
but yeah, as far as like characters and chemistry, I mean, this is gonna be kind of thick in the middle of it. You heard me.
I'm a little thick in the middle.
Well, no, we should probably go chronologically. That's always easier when we do that.
Yeah.
So
you start. No, you start.
So it starts off, and Ethan orders like DoorDash.
Well, it was a mission.
But the guy, like, it seemed like like a delivery boy. Like,
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
yeah, he's like, say the oath.
Yeah.
Or say it. And he goes, oh, shit, sorry.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't help but giggle at this poor guy's thinking like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And, you know, sitting
Just
up here
hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, say the thing you're supposed to say. He goes,
Yeah.
okay.
It seemed like that was the guy's first mission, air quotes, was delivering this package because he was like, welcome to the IMF.
But I kind of would giggle at that a little bit. But I mean, it was cool. And then I did like the realistic ass point.
Ass point.
The
That was a realistic ass point.
realistic ass point. No, there's a realistic aspect of an interpretation of after the recording was done of what the mission was. It was like, yeah, this is going to catch on fire in 5 seconds. And he threw it back in the bin, and the bin was fire retardant. So,
so
you know, it was,
burns up inside the bag.
I was like, okay, that's cool. That seems very realistic. And like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, that
And like
makes
you
sense.
put the dossier, all the photos and stuff on there too, and let it all burn up.
Completely get rid of the evidence.
So what is the mission?
So yeah, there's this what they call the entity. That's basically this AI who becomes sentient, and it becomes sentient during World War II?
No. It was a recent.
Was it a recent Russian?
It was a modern submarine.
Yeah, and they're able to finally find a way to go completely undetected. But
they had stealth. Full stealth.
The entity made it seem like there was another ship out there.
Yeah.
So they shot rockets at it.
They shot a torpedo at nothing.
And then it eventually turned around and came back and struck them, sinking to the bottom. But the entity
is still in there.
Still there.
Yeah, its source code is in the heart of the
and
sub.
It was sealed too, so it's still, it's not flooded or nothing. It's still bumping, still kicking. And basically
there's a 2-key system to get into the
and somehow they
core.
blink.
Yeah, they're all rigged up. It's a high tech sub with high tech keys, baby.
You gotta have them blinking,
and you gotta have both keys. It's a 2-key system like we would use for nukes and things like that. And basically, this AI has gone rogue, like hardcore. And like, I mean, I did kind of like that scene where they're just talking about like this thing's fully out there and like
it can perform its own thoughts, and it's out there touching
like international banking,
government
secrets. Yeah,
and it's not doing anything with them, but it's making them very well known that like, oh,
I can do this.
I did like that. I thought like that's pretty
very
cool.
intelligent of it to like. I'm not necessarily doing anything with it, but that I can and try and stop me.
Yeah, I did also like how people wanted to be able to control it rather than
they wanted to weaponize it.
Yeah, like that's the first thing, which felt very, very real.
Yeah, it was basically like the next nuclear, thing was, well, now we'll be the one in control of the truth.
Yeah, which one of us is going to be able to become the world's first superpower?
Yeah, or the next, the new version of the superpower. Yeah, and I did like that idea too of like, because all of our knowledge, information, things like that is now primarily digital. This thing is going through and rewriting stuff and editing things and can just
being able to do an AI voiceover of
and just
people.
Change what is known as the truth.
You can handle the truth.
That's a pretty interesting idea of like That's a more existential threat of like, it can just alter reality essentially. And so it's like, oh, that's an interesting way to be like, okay, that's a very world-ending threat. That's not a nuke. How do you make it kind of fresh and more modern? I think because it's like, all right, we've done the nuke before. You
You ever seen iRobot?
right?
Will Smith, basically the same thing, but
You keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Oh,
I'm going to. I love Chris Rock. That was such a pansy response, man. You could have cooked him on live television, and you missed such a golden
he'd also
opportunity.
just been fucking slapped on live television.
G.I. Jane, can't wait to see it.
But yeah, fucking
Baldy.
Yeah. Whoa. Fucking alopecia, man.
Oh,
Yeah. What's your excuse?
I just have bad genetics, I guess. I don't know.
Just DNA. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we all got our own fucking problems. Everyone's a critic. Get off my back.
Get off.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast.
The voice crack and then
Get
the
off
eyes.
my back.
Get off my back. On your 22nd birthday, you're over here getting roasted for balding, and then your voice cracks when you're trying to defend yourself. Oh, man. I love you, bub.
I try.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the fucking clown.
So, honka, So, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Scheduled for one song
Stop
only.
it. They fucking, they're trying to get the keys, but they don't know what the keys actually unlock.
Yeah.
The whole world is after these keys.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, they want to be the next superpower that can control this thing.
Yeah.
And the entity is actually, like, basically another interested party.
Yeah.
Because it wants the keys, so that way nobody else has them. I liked the idea of, like, it basically reaching out and trying to convert somebody to its cause. So that way it could have, like, a physical, it can't go grab keys,
Right.
So I need somebody to go do my bidding.
What do you think it's...
God on him?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Like, what do you think it promised?
Right, exactly. I don't know. Like, was
safety?
it just like ideologically, like he believes in it? I don't know.
Or do you think... Because there's truly only like that one person.
Yeah, it was like him and then Palm Clementieff.
Oh, yeah, but like I thought that was just
She seemed
his
more
goons.
like higher. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm curious if the entity had a plan to upload itself into said person.
I don't know.
That seems kind of like a stretch.
That
but
yeah.
it is a thought to think about. Of like, well, I mean, if they're that smart,
Yeah.
or being able just to transport itself into a physical form,
Yeah.
like a mobile physical form.
Yeah. There was, jumping way ahead, there was that weird moment where, like...
Jon Favreau?
Yes.
Who?
The fucking bad guy.
Oh,
was the character. I like that you're just like, you mean Jon Favreau? No way you don't. Jon Favreau has nothing to do with this movie, and you're like, Jon Favreau? I can't think of his goddamn name.
Dan.
Yeah. No.
Dan the man.
Dan the Destroyer, where he was like smuggled onto the train in like a fucking like
Sarcophagus almost.
Yeah, he looks like fucking Nosferatu. She opens the box and he's got a damn
The Undertaker.
Iron Man mask on with a rebreather so he can fucking
Breathe in this fucking box. What are you too poor to pay for a ticket, my man?
I'm like, yeah, just board the train. What
Got
do
enough to hire an assassin?
You got the entity on your side.
Yeah.
Just board the train.
Money's not real.
But I did like, so that was another thing about the entity that I liked of it as a villain, was because it can access all the computers in the world at the same time, blah, 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 blah. It's got just this infinite computational power, and it's constantly running probabilities. And so, to a high degree of accuracy, can basically predict the future to an extent, which, I mean, that technology already exists to a much
Smaller
scale of like Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and all these that run on algorithm can give you ads for stuff that you didn't even know you wanted. And then you see it and you're like, oh, that is right up my alley.
Those motherfuckers get me all the time with those satisfying videos.
Yeah.
That's my weakness, man.
And so there's that thing of like, we don't have to know as much about you as you would like to think for us to know you, you know? And so if you've got a computer that can access all the computers in the world and all that, it can learn all it needs to know about you and then know exactly what to put in place to kind of steer you. And so that was an interesting aspect of like, the guy thinks he basically knows the future because the entity told it to him. And then there's that aspect of like, yeah, but is it being fully honest with you? You know, what's it not telling you? Right.
And that's also the thing of like, if it's above 50%, that's what's in the odds. That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Right.
It's just more likely.
Yeah.
So that was kind of an interesting of like, yeah, it's not guaranteed, but it's likely.
And that's what separates humans from
Yeah.
robots is
Yeah, right. Is
hope.
yeah, poisons the soul.
Hope poisons the soul.
So I think the airport stuff was pretty mid.
Yeah.
It was more like spy thriller in that sense, less actiony in that scene.
There's a bomb, which is
Yeah.
what Simon Pegg's character was trying to defuse when he's out on the field.
I did find myself in that scene liking the way they set up tension in like both scenarios, I guess, of like, so you got Simon Pegg trying to disarm this potential nuke at the same time as Ethan and Grace are trying to get the key and are, they're getting chased around by bouncing around trying to get away from the feds. And, both scenes were intense in like different ways where the stakes are obviously very different. Simon Pegg's trying to disarm a nuclear device and they're just trying to avoid detention. I liked that tech because it was, again, very real tech of that Luther was employing to put Ethan's face on random people, using like deep fake to put his face on other people to trick the facial recognition, and then using the same technology to hide Ethan's face. That's pretty interesting of like
smart.
How to hide in plain sight in like a modern setting. That kind of came up a lot, was like, how can we use technology as a weakness?
And like eventually, later on when they end up after the airport, they end up going to Venice. And while they're there, Simon Pegg's character is trying to direct Ethan down these halls because
over comms.
Yeah, and eventually the AI is able to kind of
hack into their comms
and pick up on the voice recognition and just
emulate his voice. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Way far. I thought that was scary. Yeah, honestly, because we have a lot of that now. Where we have like stupid videos of like Plankton singing "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
so it's like stupid shit. But
what if it could be my voice saying horrendous things that could get me in trouble? Right.
What if I just start saying like the worst things known to man and just go, it was an AI?
Right. Or vice versa.
But then that is the real question though, is like, what if you do have people out there of higher power who will say something like that, and then, if when they get a lot of backlash, they can just go, that was an AI.
Or vice versa. Somebody who didn't say those things that's in a high position of power can be toppled by an AI that makes it sound like they did, And I mean, that kind of makes me think of like the deep fake porn and things like that, where it's like, it's victimizing somebody that doesn't even know that they've been victimized until it's like brought to their attention. And it's like, that's a really scary aspect of this whole type of technology. And I do think this movie kind of uses that effectively.
Yeah.
Of like, this is all stuff that's really happening, and then how can we scale it up to like a world-ending, threat, right? The fucking chase through Venice, that car chase.
Yeah, that was a long
car chase that I felt stayed engaging.
For me, I think what was most engaging about it is like, there was an aspect of like, you can tell they had cameras like rigged up to the motorcycle and some of the cars where it's like, okay, he's actually driving because he does his own stunts and everything. So knowing that, I was like a little more appreciative of everything that they're doing. So, we'll just start with, when they get that little Fiat.
Yeah.
It's like a IMF car.
That was kind of a funny little moment too, even before they get in it, where, he like pulls up an app, which was kind of cool, where it's like, do you need a safe house, a safe car, or a safe plane, or a safe boat?
I think it was a plane.
And, it's like, we need a car. I need to get in it. Like, basically, like, DoorDash shows you where the closest, like, basically dead drop, like, safe car is. And he's like, all right, we got to go.
Basically a bird scooter.
Yeah. And they go running over to it, and there's, like, this hot-ass fucking, was it a Ferrari? And you're like, oh, like, you even went, oh, yeah. Like, oh, fuck. And then he goes walking over to it, and like pushes the button to unlock it, and it's just this little yellow, like, I don't even know if it was a Fiat.
There's a Fiat.
Was it? It's just this tiniest little car in the world, and it's like, all right. So they like get in, and they're handcuffed on opposite sides so that it's awkward to drive. And she's refusing to drive, so he has to drive with like his left arm tucked under his right. And he's like fucking with the controls, and he's like, sorry, they make these things so confusing, you know? And he's like really trying to figure out how to start the thing. He's got the wipers going. He's like getting very visibly flustered and embarrassed. Like, this is supposed to be cool. They gave me a stupid car. I don't know how to operate the fucking thing. And she's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You know, like trying to comfort him and tell him it's okay. It's not embarrassing. He's like,
It makes it even
he's
worse.
like, well, yeah. And he just looks so dejected. It's like he couldn't keep it up, you know? I'm sorry. This is just really, no, it's okay. It's okay. And you're like, I don't think we should see each other again. You know, I just don't want to ever look you in the face again.
No, I can't look at you.
And
He ends up crashing into a pole like right off the rip.
yeah, just immediately, because that thing had some scoot.
Yeah, it does.
I like when
It's all juked up.
they like roll down the stairs
Yeah.
in it and manage to like flip seats because they've been tumbling around inside with no seatbelt. And she's going like, what the fuck? Like, now I'm in the driver's seat. So she has to take off, and she keeps it. It's just stuck in a donut.
Constantly doing donuts.
And there's just so much smoke coming off the wheels, and she's screaming, "We're on fire!" And
We're
he's
on
like,
fire!
"He's like, no, it's the wheels. Just go straight." You know?
Yeah. Seeing him being like trying to be calm and like collective during moments
Yeah.
like that was pretty funny. Of him like,
Yeah, I'm trying to keep his shit together.
like
Yeah, just drive, please.
just
And he's-
straight.
And I like him telling her, like, while they're you're doing a good job. Okay,
Yep.
this is good. Like,
You can go ahead, turn left. We're keep going. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna
no,
keep
yeah,
going
we're good.
straight.
We're gonna keep going
Yep.
straight. Yep. All right, and left. And she goes right, and he's like, or right. That's good too. Let's just keep moving. You know.
But then
Fucking Pom Klementieff in that scene is driving just the largest armored like SWAT vehicle I've ever seen, and is driving it like a maniac.
Yeah, crashing
just crashing
through
through
the stairs.
walls and shit,
Hitting people.
and like screaming while she's doing it. Yeah!
manically
And you're like, oh my god, this woman is
fucking lost
unhinged.
it. From there, going back to because they end up getting away, right? And then that night they're trying to
Sneak into the gala to like
yeah.
hijack the sale of the key.
Yeah. And then we find out about the bridge where Simon Pegg gets his voice altered.
Oh right, yeah.
That's that same night, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because the sale goes bad. Everybody scatters. Grace goes running as well as Ingrid. And
I don't like Ingrid.
No?
No.
And the expectation had been set already that one of those two was going to die.
Yeah.
And that if that happened, then everything was going according to plan. And so obviously don't want either one of them to die because then everything is going according to plan if they do. So Ingrid dies in a blade fight against the bad guy. And they were putting up a decent fight. I did like that aspect. It didn't feel like either of them was good at fighting until they weren't. You know what I mean? It felt like both of them were fighting well with blades, and whichever one messed up was going to be the one that died. And that's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
You know? And like he got a lucky stab in like the back of her thigh, so she was kind of off balance, things like that, you know.
She did die too gracefully, in my opinion.
No.
Like when Ethan,
Yeah, comes sprinting up after about a
the
32-minute jog.
The lighting's on her so well. Her cheekbones look flawless. She's not
Yeah.
like crying or anything.
Yeah,
like
right.
her eyes are so peaceful. Like she just
Yeah.
looks so calm when she died. That's when I giggled there, and I was like, I'm sorry, but this just seemed a little cheesy to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, if I'm getting shanked, I'm gonna shit all in myself, and I'm gonna start fucking screaming and crying. I'm not gonna lay there and just with a smile on my face and die. Sorry about it. That ain't me, baby.
I like that that's the part of the movie that you wanted to be realistic, was just her dying brutally. Like, I wanted to evacuate her bowels. I wanted there to be piss and shit stains on that kimono.
Yep. 100% correct. I want a little more truth to it. I want them to go up and go, oh, damn, they stabbed her in the stomach, man. I can smell all this
smell that?
fecal
That's
matter.
perforated
Yeah,
bowel.
That's,
They straight up do that in All Quiet on the Western Front. When his buddy gets shot and he like brings him over and he was talking to him, and then he lays him down on the doctor's bed, and the doctor's like, oh, he's dead. And he's like, what? And he was just awake.
oh, yeah.
And he like touches the blood on his stomach and sniffs it, and he goes, ooh, yeah, smell that? That's shit. And it was a perforated bowel. He's dead. Even if we saved him, he's dead. Because the infection. You
Yeah.
wanted that scene.
Yeah,
But
I did.
in Mission Impossible.
Yes. Yes, I did. But nonetheless, here we are.
Are you one of the scabs that Hollywood's hiring to write the movie?
Next question, please.
No more questions. So then from there they go to the train. The Orient Express,
Yep.
which was kind of funny to me that it's like, oh, damn it, they're going to destroy this thing. Which they did actually,
They actually destroyed it?
Yeah, so not the whole train, but like the main engine piece that goes careening off and explodes. Yeah, they really did that.
Oh, word.
They really just built a train and then destroyed it.
Fuck.
Yeah, man.
That's stupid money, man.
That's like, all right, we got some budget to use here. Let's build this train and then throw it off a cliff, huh?
And they said, yeah, we're really not trying to have a surplus here.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. We do it again, they won't give it to us.
We got to write this off on taxes. We got to make a loss here.
Yeah. But that scene was pretty cool. It did feel very like Uncharted, like to a point where I was like, "This is
Uncharted." Yeah,
very like damn near.
And I'd be interested to find out, like, because Christopher McQuarrie is the director. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but I'd be interested to know if like it was inspired by that directly, like officially, or if it's like that was a good action scene. I haven't seen anything like that in a movie, so let's put that in a movie. Huh?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Because if they're forthright and being like, yeah, no, I mean, we were very inspired by Uncharted. That was a good action scene. Then it's all right, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that is a good action scene, even in the game and in the movie as well.
Yeah, I did like the fucking like. All right, this is the shot. The fact that like he's gonna drive this motorbike off this fucking cliff and then base jump, and I mean, you could tell that they were like, yeah, we got this thing from I don't know 19 angles, and we're gonna show you at least 8 of them because. By God, we're showing you that. I mean,
how many times did we see him jump off that mountain, like
in that like behind the scenes?
No, just in that one single shot. Because we saw the back, then we saw the front, and then we saw the side.
Yeah, and then you see some of the drone footage where he's legitimately falling, and then there's obviously one where he's fake falling because we can hear him speaking.
Yeah.
But they had a drone follow him off the cliff to like try and stay with him, and it is fucking insane that they're like. All right, let's do this one. And they did say, like, in the behind the scenes that, like, this is actually probably the most dangerous stunt we've done, only because you are base jumping next to a cliff. Mm-hmm. You
got to try to get away from that.
Try to get away from the cliff
as far as you fucking can, dude.
And so they were like, all right, let's run some. I mean, you can only run the algorithm so many times before you go, all right, well, let's get somebody on the bike and test it. And that somebody is whole T. Cruz here.
If he doesn't die of old age, it's going to be because of the stunts.
And he said in like a red carpet interview where I think somebody asked him something to the effect of like, when that day comes, I mean, we all expire. Do you see yourself? Would you be happy you're dying like in bed as a 90-year-old man, or in one of your stunts when you seem you're obviously an adrenaline junkie? Is that where you're And he was kind of like, honestly, that'd be pretty dope. Like. To die doing one of these stunts where I'm like riding an adrenaline high, that'd be kind of cool. And I'm like, all right, man, as long as he's got that attitude, all right.
More power to you, man.
Yeah, all right.
I'm trying to think what else happened after that.
Well, so he jumps off the cliff to board the train. He gets on the train.
He crashes into...
just through the side of the train.
And saves Grace.
From the gunman. Because she...
She put on a phony mask.
Yeah, to be the White Widow.
Yeah,
who's like a broker of sorts,
making a deal for the keys. Then Grace was like,
turns out with the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA was in on it. And during that exchange, she gets herself in a pickle.
Yeah,
and then he comes in and accidentally saves her.
Yeah, just
like unintentionally.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, hey,
Grace, what's poppin', baby?
What is baby?
You okay?
Yeah, and she's really like, I was almost about to get shot in the fucking gut. Like, I'm glad you're here. It's a runaway train, and so I did like how Luther set up the like, hey, you need to be realistic about this whole thing because
that was a good scene.
Here's basically you got to believe that like this entity, everything that's happening so far is exactly what is intended to happen as far as the entity is concerned. We still don't know what this key even unlocks. As far as we know, he's the only guy that does, and you're mad at him. You can't kill him. And he's like, the entity's basically counting on one of two things here. Either you get on that train and die, or you get on that train and you kill him. Either way, we've lost.
Yeah.
So you have to get off that train alive without killing that dude. Whatever you fucking do. And he's like, all right. And there's even a moment where like he
starts
to kill him because he's fucking mad at him, and he has to like, all right.
Well, no, the police stop him.
The police stop him, yeah, but I mean, he still could have done it right in front of the cops. And then taking the cops down.
No.
I did like that scene where you even were like, Jesus, when they were, the special forces were like being briefed on who this dude is.
Yeah.
He's a specialist in this, and this. basically until you have driven a stake through his
heart.
his bleeding heart, do not consider him, basically under control. Mm-hmm. You're like, Jesus.
My God, man.
My God, yeah.
This man's a fucking
Machine.
tank.
Yeah. Unless you've visibly seen his heart stop, don't trust it. Mm-mm. But, so he does not kill the dude. Mm-mm. He does steal the key from the dude.
Yes.
And then old Grace does fall into the hands of IMF.
Yeah, they're a little cult there.
Which was all part of the plan. Where he told her, like, all right, this dude's going to fucking come and take you. And you need to just tell him that I offered you the choice. Mm-hmm. And you accept the choice. So you and I did say, this is very cultish.
Mm-hmm. And she did, and now she's part of the crew.
She's part of the old team.
Part of the blonde boys.
The IMF. But that's pretty much the end of the movie. I mean, it's an action movie. You know?
Like there was good scenes, you know, and it, like, you know, some of the camera shots were cool, but there's just a couple things where I don't know, I didn't really like, or I got kind of bored of. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's because I didn't know some of the characters and maybe some of the plots. I have no desire to see part 2.
Yeah,
and we'll see it obviously for the podcast, and I'd like to hope. I mean, I never want to see a movie and not like it. I always want to like the movie.
Yeah.
So,
which is why I do have like an aversion. There's a lot of movies that we were supposed to see that we haven't because we're both just like, I know I'm not going to enjoy that. And then like, I mean, you figure we did Morbius, and that was tough.
What do you mean?
And like, it was the kind of bad where I didn't even enjoy not liking it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Where sometimes,
we're like somebody got that for me on my birthday last year.
Yeah.
As a gag.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened that thing yet. I probably never will.
No, I'll leave it in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Where
still in the plastic wrap.
Where there is some redeeming quality to like So Bad It's Good, and it's like
The Room.
Yeah, exactly.
That is not The Room.
This is not The Room. It's just Mobius. Yeah, Morbius is just not good. Yeah, and so there have been some movies that we just passed on that I wish we had made ourselves go see. You know what I mean?
Pass or gas on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Gas.
Pass.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I liked it. I didn't dislike it, I think is the right thing to say. I was simply whelmed. But like I said, I enjoyed it more than I didn't, but I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, I was overwhelmed.
Like if you ask me, like, should I go see that in theaters? I'll say, my first question will be, is there anything else out?
I would ask, did you see the others?
Yeah.
And then if you're like, yeah, I really enjoyed the last one, I'd be like, yeah, go see this one.
It was pretty dead in there too.
Like I said, it's a Wednesday night.
Someone, what was it in the theater?
That dude that fucking laughed at one of the jokes.
Oh my God.
And sounded like he was choking on his tongue.
Wheezing, man. He had that.
And like the guy behind us giggled, and you and I both were like,
it sounded like he needed a stomach transplant, man.
It sounded like he was laughing through a stoma. And we both were just like,
yeah, we're trying not to fucking giggle, man.
Like, it's just the dude's laugh. He's enjoying himself.
It was a pretty dead crowd too. So,
Yeah,
I mean, there's maybe like
a smaller theater, maybe 20 people in there.
Not even.
And he's just, and you're like, I'm like, I said, you don't want to bash somebody for enjoying themselves,
right?
So we're trying not to laugh and make him self-conscious, but what a goober.
Shit was just funny, man.
Yeah. I guess that's the end of the episode.
I mean, it was a short, no news, no cryptid. I mean, we strictly wanted to talk about.
I didn't write anything down for this, and I don't remember my closing out spiel, but basically, if you like this episode, be sure to give it a great review. Mm-hmm. Follow it on your audio streaming service of choice so you get notified when we post it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the news is going to be behind, so if there's anything major that's happened between now, Thursday the 13th, and, when this episode actually goes out, sorry we missed it.
Yeah.
But
email us and let us know if there's anything big that we missed.
Chris, how would they do that?
You can always take a look at our social medias. Our Instagram, Facebook is Simply Whelmed Podcast. Same with our YouTube there. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. And then, of course, you can send us an email, what you thought of the movie, what your favorite Mission Impossible was.
There's 7 of them.
Yeah, if you were in a situation like that.
Yeah. What are you doing?
How would you do?
Yeah, how many masks would you wear?
Right, exactly.
Wear a mask over a mask? I don't think they've done that one
yet. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. You can definitely let us know at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right. I think if our calendar is correct, our next episode will be Barbenheimer. So you're going to have to somehow see both of those movies.
I think I'm probably going to see Barbie. Mm-hmm. I'm on this vacation.
Yeah.
And I'll probably see Oppenheimer.
The day you get back.
When I get back. Well, sometime during that week.
Yeah, and I'm as we discussed. I think I'm going to see Barbie on the Friday. Saturday, my dad and I are driving an hour and a half to go see in true IMAX. Just full prolonged nudity.
Oh yeah.
Which means you're going to be the dude in the theater by yourself watching
Stroking
prolonged full nudity.
Yeah, prolonged stroking. You know what I'm saying?
What was the meme I Shorty give me bomb head, call that Sloppenheimer. So
Shorty give me
bomb head, call that Sloppenheimer. That's so stupid.
I told you, so that makes me think of just like the presidential AIs.
Yeah,
That's just Trump.
Just picture Trump, you know. A shorty give me bomb head. Call that Sloppenheimer. Anyways, yeah, so look forward to Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Probably be a long one.
Little tidbit. Do we just want to make this a half episode?
What is it, 71 and a half then?
Yeah. I mean, we've done that in the past.
Yeah, but we usually...
Because it is. We didn't do any news. It's not a full episode.
Yeah, it's just a mini-sode.
Yeah, another mini-sode. Just because I'm going on vacation. So, I mean, going out.
And you were worried of having another Morgan episode on you.
Huh? Yep.
You were like, oh shit, I gotta keep keep in there.
Mm-hmm.
If we let her get too much time in the light,
just have to take over.
Start moving in.
Squatters' rights, that's the biggest thing. That's when it becomes a legal action.
After 6 months, it's mine.
Right.
You know? Anyways, I think that's the end of the episode, Chris. Why don't you tell everybody bye?
Bye.